right, just a beautiful welcome. Good afternoon. Welcome to your favorite social media program, The Buzz. I am Ruth Blossom. Ways to watch this program live and every other live program on Galaxy TV. You can download Galaxy Television app from Google Play Store or Apple Play Store to watch this program live or other live programs. Anyways, you're welcome again. Of course, to be part of the program, you can actually call in. Okay, Michael, thank you very much for that one. That was quick. You can actually call in the number displayed below your screen TV, or you can send a text message to us. But while you're at it, make sure you indicate your name and where you're calling from when you have that. And when you're sending a text message, make sure you indicate your name and where you're texting from. You're welcome again. I have my amazing favorite guest for West Day today. I'll start from my left is Nuruddin Adebiro, who is a senior journalist who has been on my neck since the moment he stepped into the studio. One day I'm going to report you on air. Good morning. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon and good afternoon, Nigerians.
It's good to have you. Thank you so much for
coming. A complete gentleman for that matter.
On air. Okay. I see that. All right. We have another guest. We have Shegun Shubiton. Of course, he's the chairman of Bolt at Network. Welcome to the show, sir. It's good to have you.
Nice to be there, close, and you know I will always be there for you.
Yeah.
You've already reported it.
Yeah. Well, I'm so happy to have both of you in the studio. And of course, before we go for the topics we have for today, I just want to hear a little of what we have to say as regards the protest that happened on Monday morning. And of course, for like 2 days, it has been a trending topic for people to discuss about. So I would really love to hear your opinion on that. Both the tear gassing and what the Rivers protesters said about the government emergency rule, and of course in bigger state where we have so many officers in uniform protecting just very few numbers of people, restricting them from, I don't know, for them it's protecting, but for the protesters it feels like it's restriction. But what's your take?
It is thank God that this thing is happening during our lifetime. So if it has not happened, maybe we are going to be saying, if it is so person, it cannot happen. I think the activities of some certain police officers is not going good to the reputation of the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, that we knew as a Democrat. We know the number of protests that he has led. We know the number that he has financed. So automatically, during his own tenure as president, where protests, peaceful protests has now become a taboo under a democratic setting. It's something that is part of our history and we've written it down. It's so sad that Nigerian police, anytime they hear protests, their countenance is going to change. They see as if they want to go and find terrorists. They see that they want to go and face the Boko Haram members or Lokrowa extremist group. And that is what is always in their thinking. And this is not good. That's the reason why human rights countries, human rights groups in the world will always write us down because of these activities. And the job of the police is to protect, and also to protect the protesters and those other people that are not protesting. So by the time they now turn it into, anytime you want to protest has become another thing. So it's a show of shame at every point. And then in Rivers, we have said it on this table for a very longer time. When you want to build a structure and the foundation is based on illegality, no matter any blocks you are going to be molding on, it's going to be illegality. And I know in a very little time, when the Supreme Court is going to speak, I know and I pray that Supreme Court will speak the truth and is going to lay all these illegality, nip it in the bud, and it will never happen again. Because one thing there is this: when you see a sole administrator that was not elected by people, that was never into the law, now appointing sole administrator in every local government is a pure illegality, and that is the reason why I've said this severally. It is not compulsory Nigeria should practice democracy. Democracy is not the only system of government. In fact, in the world, the most thriving system of government is not even democracy. But what is it? If we don't want to practice democracy, let us create a system of government for ourselves. Call it any name we want to call it. Automatically, we are not practicing democracy. With what is happening in River State, with the attitude of the sole administrator, with the attitude of police to the protesters, we are not practicing democracy. Because one of the fundamental things in democracy is the freedom. When you are taking that freedom to protest, freedom of association away from people because they are, in fact, do you know that in law, one person can protest? Only you, without, even with your member of the family. If you know that one policy of the government is not going on with your family, you can take your wife, your 2 children, 3 children, you take placard, you can go to the governor's office in front of governor, and nobody must touch you, and they must respect it. That is how democracy is being done. Look at what is happening in the United States of America. Over 180 cities protesting at the same time. I will never see a police officer throwing a tear gas on anybody. Upon the numbers of those people that are protested, that is what we call democracy. Because the beauty of democracy is that when you remove that freedom, it is the same thing as kakikocracy, and that is the one of the military.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. Shag, what do you have to say about the protest that happened on Monday?
Well, first of all, it's disheartening that this protest was nothing but a whimper. It was a whisper. Yeah, it wasn't. If you hadn't mentioned it, I wouldn't have remembered. And I followed the news. I followed the news diligently, both online and both on social media and mainstream television. It was hardly covered, for obvious reasons. There wasn't much to it. The bad behavior that the police demonstrated in some places is something that we have come to expect. It's something that we hope will go away one day when governance in the country as a whole begins to resemble what it should be and what it is like in normal parts of the world. So it's a pity that it wasn't more successful, that it wasn't more prominent. And for me, that speaks to the heart of the matter for me. This issue of protest for me says to me that we have a long way to go as a country. There are very, very few places on the surface of this planet where the kind of hardship that Nigerians are going through will happen. And will still be going about their normal. It's just business as usual. Where a government official comes on air and says 1,500 naira can feed the Nigerian in a day, and nothing happens. Nothing. So we really have a long way. Nigerians need to understand that the only way that we are ever going to get good governance, please mark my words, the only way that we will ever get good governance in this country is when the people rise up against the ruling class. There is no other way. You can wish for military intervention all you want. It's not going to happen. For those that are hoping secretly that the military will take over, it's not going to happen. Those days are gone. We are going to be here subjected to the wicked rule of the political class until the people decide they've had enough. And then they stand up and say, this far and no more. Yeah. That protest and the many before it was an opportunity. We, as the middle class elite, people that have a voice, people that have a platform, people that have influence, around the people around them, we have to understand that the fact that you can drive your car around, the fact that you still put fuel in your car, buy airtime, eat some sort of a semblance of a normal meal, doesn't mean that things are okay. You are a target. It's just a matter of time. When the hunger gets beyond a particular point, then you too will become a victim. And I say this because the only people that can really drive these types of protests are the middle class. The protest that we're talking about, is it not somebody that organized it? So what happened to everybody else? Why did we not get a coming together of effort, of resources to make that protest really successful? What happened to end bad governance? What happened to end hunger, last year? Why did those protests not really have significant impact? It's because we're compromised. The people that can make a difference in this society, make government listen, we're compromised. every time that we have come together as a people to say no to a particular item and our voices have been united, the government has had to backtrack. Every time, with no exception. Once you see, because you see, I keep telling people that politicians are cowards. They really, all the bravado and all those things. Just one small spark like this, they will make a U-turn. So the earlier we understand this and really begin to ask ourselves the questions about what we really want in this country, the better for us. Those people that are defending the policies of this administration, talking about subsidy removal and all the other things, they need to understand that until they may be enjoying now because they have access to power, but it's just a matter of time. So for me, it's a pity that protest didn't do better than it did. It's a pity that the police, as usual, were as high-handed as they were. We can only hope that one day, Nigerians will have enough and come back.
And in addition, the attitude of poor Nigerians. Look, anytime you see us on here, we are talking about the country is not smiling, people are suffering. Don't think we are the ones suffering, no. With the glory of God, we may not be up there, but at least we are stable. But what of the poor Nigerians you want to fight for? What you hear, what they say, the comment that is coming from them, those people you want to fight for, those people that their children cannot go to school, those people that cannot afford private hospitals, those people that need good roads, those people that sell in the market, those people you want to make sure that your opinion stand for them, those people you want to be their voice. If you listen to what they are saying, don't protest, and these are people that you are protesting for. And that's why you see some certain people, they just want to mind their business, make their money with their family, take care of their family, and they just move on. They don't even want to fight for anybody. They don't want to be the voice of anybody because there are some Nigerians. They don't even know what is happening in Nigeria. They are poor. In fact, they are suffering. They've lost their loved one because they cannot afford government hospital. They have lost, their children cannot go to school because they have school to go. Some of them, their children have admissions to federal university, state university, they can't afford it. And these are the people you are fighting for. And you see them, they will say abuse you. As you are talking now, some are even abuse us that soon.
Okay, well, it's so sad for those who actually think that the protesters are doing what they think they should do and not knowing that they are doing it for the cause of Nigerians, especially those who are down the ladder. But anyways, let's go to the topic we have for today. And the first one is definitely from River State. Is the three suspects is alleged plot to frame Fubara's COS. Now, 4 people who were discharged and acquitted by the Federal High Court in Port Harcourt over the bombing of the River State House of Assembly complex in 2023 have recounted their ordeal. The youth who said they were detained for between 6 to 8 months raised the alarm that they were being forced to implicate the chief of staff to the suspended governor, Fubara, that is Edison Ehi. Now, the claim by the youth comes days after a former head of service in River State, George Nwake, alleged that Governor Fubara sponsored the assembly bombing complex in October 2023 to frustrate an attempt by lawmakers loyal to ex-governor Nwake to impeach him. Speaking in a news conference in Port Harcourt, the youth, Chime Ezebalike, Kenneth Pasa, Prince Oladele Lukman, and McPherson Olumini said they were unjustly arrested, detained and tortured for 6 to 8 months over the assembly complex bombing. Whew. Anyways, well, we'll see that this thing has been going back and forth in River State for a lot of things have been coming out. Now, with this kind of vision, what do you think is the way forward?
One thing there is this. You see, the Rivers people are the ones that will suffer. That's the thing. Look, I will never believe that it was ghosts that bombed that State House of Assembly. I don't want to believe. Because ghost does not even have, I don't think there is explosive in heaven. In the spiritual realm, the explosions, the explosives that are available are not the one that we use. So, another thing again is this. The police, that arrested these people and rushed them to court? Are they swayed to politics of River State? There is no investigation. Because for you to push some people for this kind of offense, that means you will have done your due diligence. Investigation will have taken place, completing.
Suspects.
And at the same time, court now start them and acquit them. It shows the level of it. That means the investigation that was done to put these people to court, it is a political investigation. And when an investigation is political, you can never see truth. Anything political in Nigeria, truth is not there. Then another thing again is that coming from them saying they really want them to lie against the chief of staff to, well, that one is politics and it's an allegation. But one thing that is so certain there is this. Now, the court has said these guys are not the one that really born on the state assembly. Then, who did it? Or does that mean we are not going to know the person that did that till now? Then another thing again is this. River State has always been in the history for a lot of reasons because of election. From during the time of Rotimi Amechi till now. But now, they are even more, they now occupy more chapters in the political history of Nigeria because of the illegality that is being perpetrated in that particular state till now. But one thing that is there is this. They are using taxpayers' money to build another one. At least, the another one is about 70 or 80% completion. They are using the resources of the state without knowing. I think the state commissioner then, Disu, his men did not do well in terms of investigation. Because I believe that before you parade people that they are the one that born, investigation will have taken place. But when you now get to court, unanimously, when they are being freed, it shows that a lot of politics inside, and we know what is happening in politics. But the thing there is this. Who burned down that assembly? Does that mean we are not going to know? And that is the end?
End of this?
No, it's so sad. It's so sad.
Okay, all right. Tasha, what do you agree with what the says?
The whole drama playing out in River State is really unfortunate. And we all know what it's like. I said, look, we all know that this has absolutely nothing to do with governance, has absolutely nothing to do with security. In fact, today, there is more than enough reason for a declaration of emergency in Plateau State.
Yes.
Than in River State, than there has ever been in River State. And yet here we are. The bombing of the state assembly, the demolitions, the locking ups, all of those things are typical political moves that we've seen. Unfortunately, we don't really know what the truth is. We can only guess, we can only extrapolate, conjecture based on what we know, based on, who will benefit the most from this. Say, therefore it must have been this person. We don't really know the truth, and we may likely never know the truth. But I think that one truth that is clear is the truth represented by the law, the Constitution of Nigeria. And for me, that's all that matters. All of this, and that's why I've said I'm not sympathetic towards Sibara.
Yeah.
But,
they are the same.
Because they're the same. The battle is not about how to make River State El Dorado. It's not about how to convert River State to Dubai in Nigeria. It's about who is going to control the resources of River State personally for political gain towards 2027. So that, and then towards 2027 is so that they can stay in office and continue to plunder. We must not forget this. So I listened to a popular comedian, Alibaba, I can mention his name, because the thing is public, talking about a video. I was very surprised that he said those things. Talking about, he was on a podcast. And he spoke about a chat that he had with President Obasanjo about the politics of Nigeria and how to win elections, how to be president or governor. And the things that he says that former President Obasanjo said, and that Alibaba came to the public space to talk about, they were shocking. Not because we don't know them, but because we're now hearing them confirmed by an ex-president. You know, one of the things that the president said is that if you want to win presidential election in Nigeria, you can never achieve it if you don't have 7 states in your control. 7. He mentioned particular states you must have in your control. Kano, Kaduna, Lagos, River Delta, and 2 others. I have not bothered to try and remember. And the reason he gave, he said for Kano and Kaduna is for numbers. Yes. That's where you can get numbers from. That for those other ones is money. That you need those governors and the resources they have access to win election, presidential election. And this was coming from the former president. And he was saying it, he was teaching Alibaba how to win elections in Nigeria. He was saying that this is how we do it. And this, for you to win, this is what you must do. And these are the things that must be in place. I found that extremely disturbing, you know, because the money, the fund we're talking is they called it funding of political party. That without the funding of the political party, you can't win election. Excuse me, funding of political party with which money? Which money? Is it not the people's money? Is it not public funds? So for me, it's I don't support Fubara. I don't support Wike. I think that the drama in Rivers State should be brought to an end. The president, you know, has done a travesty, a damage to our democracy with his pronouncement of state of emergency to start with. There was no basis for it, 0. Then, by now declaring, removing an elected governor, removing elected assembly officials, and imposing a sole administrator who is now releasing public funds outside of constitutional and legal provisions as ruled by Supreme Court. It's as if we're running a banana republic. And for me, those are the real issues. The drama about who bombed what and all those things, those are politicians just doing their own usual rubbish. As far as I'm concerned, we need to understand that this is not about us. And therefore, be mindful of who we queue up behind and support. I don't support Wike. I don't support Kubara. I think the president has done very badly. He has been very partisan in a manner that is unbecoming of a person holding the high office that he holds. He's the president of Nigeria. I've been saying it as much as I can. He's the president of Nigeria by hook or by crook. He's the president of Nigeria, not the president of APC, not the president of PDP, not the president of some of his supporters, for all Nigerians. And he must be seen to be playing that role as father of the nation. And, you know, he's an old man as well. So for me, the drama in Rivers State, as soon as we can, we need to bring it to an end so that, you know, the people of Rivers can continue to enjoy the good governance that maybe they deserve, maybe not.
You know, let me just say this in reference to what guest said yesterday. Now, according to the guest, he said, when we were talking about the suspension of Governor Fubara, now, from all indications, most lawyers have come out to say it's not what's written in the law according to Section 305, which they couldn't use to back up his claims. Now, he said that there is, he said there's a loophole there. I've forgotten the word he actually used. I'm trying to remember. He said that because it is not stated in the law that a president cannot suspend a governor. So that means if it was not stated that a president cannot suspend the governor, or a president can't suspend a governor, then that means there is a
Blossom. The person that said is not a lawyer.
Is not a lawyer.
Okay,
he's a liar.
So because if he's not, you know, somebody cannot. You may not be a lawyer. One, you may not be conversant with the Constitution. I know some people, because of this issue, that's why Section 305 is so new to them. There are some of us, after reading Quran or reading Bible, the next one is the Constitution. So for us, what he just said, he just misled the people. That's the thing. Look, there is a judgment of the Federal Court of Appeal that has not been challenged till today. That in the case of Identifier Ship, there was a judgment that says that the processes of declaration of death is very clear. That one is one. Then 2, there is a judgment in the Federal Court of Appeal that says that federal government, president is an entity. State government is an entity. Local government is an entity. The way president cannot remove a governor cannot remove the chairman of a local government. Although the lot of House of Assembly members that have in their law, including Lagos State, the House of Assembly can suspend a local government chairman. And thank God for the current chairman of Alimosho local government, Honorable Jalil Sulaiman, that went to court and challenged Right Honorable Ashiru Ajayi Obasan led the House of Assembly and challenged them in court that he doesn't have any right until they settle out of the court. Look, it's not part of our law. The president does not have that power to suspend anybody that is elected. It is not only governor. He can't suspend a senator. He cannot suspend a councillor. Under the law. So what the person is saying, if you know the number of judgment as regards that, now let me now tell you, in the court one as regards the one brought by Chief Justice of Nigeria and Minister of Justice Lateef Fagbemi, when they were talking about the funds of the local government, do you know what the Supreme Court said? In explicit, he said every tier of government is unique. Nobody can take the money that belongs to other. You cannot take anything that has to do with them. The same way it's applicable. Federal government is on its own. Do you know how it is now? What it means that thank God that 11 governors of PDP have gone to court. They have filed their suit yesterday. We want to see maybe by next week or next 2 weeks. We'll see what the Supreme Court. But what it means is this. President has shown that anybody in any state that I don't like your face, I can declare a state of emergency and National Assembly. Their own is another one. The vote that they use is unconstitutional. So that one also, I know Supreme Court is going to deal with that, because if Supreme Court fails to deal with that, they've led a bad president. What it means is this. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is the president today. Another person will be president tomorrow. And that person will come to Lagos and declare state of emergency, suspend the governor, suspend the House of Assembly, and nothing will happen.
You know, so very quickly on that, there's section 188. I don't know, you know, people say all sorts of things on there and in other places about this matter. And I know they know the truth.
They know the truth now. It's very clear.
That's why that thing that GEJ, said, I just love it. I can't stop quoting it. A person that is pretending to sleep,
you can't wake him up.
They know the truth. So I have a copy of the Constitution in my hand here. I'm reading it. Section 188 specifies how a governor can be removed.
And they applying it there.
Only by impeachment.
By impeachment.
No other provision in our Constitution. There's nothing called suspension in our Constitution, because we run a democracy, a participative democracy. We're not a monarchy. We're not a dictatorship. We're not an autocracy. This is a democracy, and there is only one way for a person to be elected. It is through the people and elections. The only way to remove him is through the people. Through their representative by impeachment. There is no other provision. The other one of, okay, maybe he's sick, they do a medical panel and they say he's incompetent to move him.
Impeachment.
Resignation and death. That's all. Nothing like suspension. So all of these things that is going on in Rivers State is an unfortunate one. I don't have the faith. I really hope that the Supreme Court
this one has to do with a lot of things. It's not because of the case. It has to do with the president. Because what it means is, if the Supreme Court did not speak,
they validate this.
What it means is this. Somebody cannot be a president forever, you know. Another person will come. When he will now come, that person will now, one thing about president is this, you will have done it and will have gone away with it. Somebody will now come, will just say, today, people in Lagos State, I'm not happy with them.
They will just go and throw one small bomb.
That's all now. Oh, there is unrest in Lagos. I declare state of emergency. I suspend the governor. So then he will move from there. Move to Oyo State. People from Oyo State. He will now remove the one of Oyo. When he leave Oyo, he go to Ondo. When he remove the one of Ondo, go to Kano. And that's it.
And when troublesome people like us, he doesn't have the power. He will just quickly sign the Supreme Court judgment on this river.
That says that he do the time of rivers now. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu suspend.
I really hope that the Supreme Court will surprise us and rule against this. I hope they will reprimand the National Assembly for the voice votes to determine who thought
in fact,
a miracle.
The suit that I saw yesterday was fully loaded, and I want to see how Supreme Court is going to be taking all those prayers one after the other and deal with it. But I know something is going to happen.
Yeah, something is definitely going to happen. Now, I'm trying to read some messages here, but let me just pick up two of them and read it. Well, this one is from Dayo, Lagos State. It says, "Good afternoon, crew. You can see that this government has been fighting for legitimacy. Case study 2023 election. If you don't have skeleton in your cupboard or scared of coup or revolution of the people, look at the day before yesterday, peaceful protest." Okay, I think this message was still said yesterday, Dayo. Okay, let me. It was still said yesterday. Okay, so let me read this one. It says, "Good afternoon, Korea. The absence of the rule of law, impunity and chaos abounds for the state of emergency of Rivers. Your president didn't do it in the north, where bandits and Boko Haram are having their way, but he declared it in a peaceful state. In Ensa's time, there was no state of emergency in any part of the country. Then you can see this is scripted. Even even as even as Senate voted for it, you can see Wike and his and the president have similar character traits. According to him, catch it, grab it, run away with it, birds of a feather. How will there be peace without justice? It's a shame the worst of us is really the best of us. Truly, there was a country. This is from Daya.
Well, for all people must know, it's not about politicians, so it's about the rule of law. Because it is a democracy, rule of law is a fundamental thing, and that is the reason why we are concerned. We are not concerned about politicians; they are the same. In my own book, all politicians are the same. But the law, because if we don't uphold the rule of law, what it means is that tomorrow, president can say tomorrow, you are by sent to death by hanging. Because that is the thing. If you are supporting illegality now, it can turn to you. That is the thing. The rule of law is what we have, and not politicians.
Okay, all right. Anyways, I'm going to start picking calls now because our time is already fast spent. Okay, since that has been said, well, they said rule of law, and you all be okay. We have a call. Hello, good afternoon. I'm fine, thank you. Good afternoon. Can you hear me from the studio? Can you hear us from the studio?
Yeah, okay.
Okay, please. What's your name and where are you calling from? Hello?
Hello?
What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Gabriel.
Gabriel. Okay, please
I'm calling from Lagos.
Lagos, please go ahead. We're listening.
Now, the whole issue, the whole drama in Rivers State is so loud.
Yeah.
Oh, that call dropped. Okay, well, we have a message. This one says, "This is my first time to hear a president suspending a governor who was elected by the people." Thank you for that message. But I would have loved you had your name and where you're sending the text message from. Well, someone was about to say something, a very salient point, and unfortunately we could not get that. But in response to what the man was trying to, I think what he was trying to say, this message, is that this is the first time we're hearing where a president is sticking out the governor. And like you said, if the Supreme Court don't come out with the fact, like telling us exactly what that constitution should state, it means invariably that in the future, something like this will come up again. And if it comes up again, that means there's probably no constitution.
Do you know what? Although every case is different, do you know that Supreme Court have said that?
Exactly.
During the time of fire,
Exactly.
he went to court. Supreme Court talked. That was the reason why he can be re-elected again after 4 years of FIME. The problem there is this: you see our politicians, they use the loopholes in our judicial system that if you file a case now, it will take like, thank God that it's even coming from governors. That is why it can within short time. If ordinary person file a case in court, before it will materialize, that person will have enjoyed everything. If not because of that, Supreme Court have said, but our politicians don't follow law, especially the one that does not suit them. They won't follow it, and that's the problem.
Okay. Another review. Okay, let's pick this call. Okay. This one says, "Please tell your guests that we do not have rule of law, and the same constitution that our so-called presidents and the House keep using has come to stay. So let's move ahead.
No. One thing there is this. We have rule of law in Nigeria. Politicians don't follow it. Look,
I think that's what it's still.
No, wait. We have. And what the politicians are doing, they know the real thing. What they just want to do is that they are buying time. President knows that suspending a governor is illegal. He knows. He's a Democrat. He knows. Do you know the way he also fought Obasanjo when the flood of Lagos State was withheld? He knows. But they are just knowing that you go to court. Before you go to court, I will appoint sole administrator. Supreme Court will now remove the person. After that, at least that time vacuum will have been. That is the thing. They know. Do you think all these politicians are daft like that? They know.
Well, I understand the position that they are took. I mean, we don't have rule of law in the sense that
we don't follow it.
The law, there are two laws in Nigeria. The law applies differently if you are poor.
Okay.
It's true.
Influential or
it's true.
That's the problem. So can we really say we have rule of law?
I think that's what he's trying to say. So it's more like, please, let's just move ahead. Anyway, so to just wrap up the show, because our time is already fast spent, let's talk a bit about what the education minister just did, where he proposes 2 years for Nysc. I'm just going to read briefly. Alausa has called for the expansion of the skill acquisition and entrepreneurship development training program content for corps members. He made this call during a visit, and according to him, Alausa urged the deployment of more graduate teachers to rural schools, adding that this would help address the manpower shortage. I also discussed the resolution of the issue concerning OND part-time graduates with full-time HNE who were previously exempted from national service. Speaking, Nafiu advocated the creation of a database for Nigerian youth pursuing degree programs abroad, stating that it assist the government and all education stakeholders in identifying fake graduates. My point is actually I'm picking out here is 2 years to serve the country. Really, is that necessary?
It is I, Adebero Nuruddin, in totality vote against it.
Okay.
Because you have inadequate teachers in your public primary school, where you will have employed Nigerians to fill that post. So you want to be having teachers, you want to be having corps members. What of those ones that are doctors that will be in the hospital? Look, during the time of Obasanjo, there are some things that was introduced into education. You know, before, entrepreneurship is only one time in 100 level. That is how you are going to do it. Now it has been robust. It is part of it. No matter, even if you like study law, you will do entrepreneurship. I remember we used to call it EED. You will do it. It is thoroughly based. That is why you see before you get accredited, your entrepreneurship center must be big. Must be well robust. Now, if somebody has done entrepreneurship, or it is a practical oriented courses that have done IT, that have done CWS, that have done 1 year IT, if it is a polytechnic, and if it is university, he has done 6 months or 3 months, depends. And after that, it should now, because of your inadequate of what you're supposed to employ, they want to now be using our core member as a contract staff. No way. What we just need to do is this. Even if I have my own way, any core member that you've called together, give them stipends. Just stipends during their stay for 1 year. The way you have tailored the entrepreneurship along with their service, they must learn one skill. At the end of their whatever, put it together. If you are giving them 700,000, 1 million naira, give them 1 million naira, give them stipends. Only when they are serving, and give them 1 million. So even if that core member did not have any work, that one you will be able to start, even if it is little. It's better than saying you want them to. Tell me what it means is this. The children of the poor, you know, children of the rich, by 2021 he has graduated. Somebody that to even go and serve is about 29 plus is because the month has not added. He was the one that will now wait for 2 years. After he finishes, when you want to get employed, they will now say that the 8th grade is 30. Somebody that is even 32 before he left service, they will not be saying 4 years experience. Where is he going to see it?
Okay, all right.
I don't understand.
All right, let's get something because of our time.
I think that you know, given the situation of unemployment in this country, Forget what MBS is saying. They're lying.
I know those ones. We know.
That unemployment is
No. We know those ones are liars. They're liars. We know.
We can all see that there is a huge labor problem. We have far more supply than there is demand for jobs. There are too many, people out there looking for work. Given that, I think that I may be amenable to the idea. However, subject to making the second year optional.
Yes.
So if you say, okay, 1 year compulsory service.
I can't see work. At least.
Where am I going? Let me start for another year.
Yeah.
Okay.
But not to make it compulsory for somebody to be idling his life away for 2 years. Abba, you know what somebody can achieve in 2 years?
In 2 years.
So for me, I think the idea should just quickly be refined to make it optional, additional year for people who are so desiring. So if you, as a copper, and the person where your primary assignment is, or primary place of primary assignment, they like you, they say, this person is adding value, we'll keep the person for a further year. And you both agree, then go ahead. If not, let the person go and continue.
Instead of doing that, out of those people that serve, 10% of them will employ them. If they are very, very good and they are useful, employ them. Employ them now.
I need to read messages.
You don't want them to
be may God bless you all. This is the first time you guys are speaking my mind. Really, the first time where we're happy at least we're speaking your mind. Okay, so says our leader they don't fear God. They forget that whatsoever was so a man. That what a man sows that he will reap. God will visit everyone.
Surely now. That one is not even a curse. God will visit everybody. That one is certain.
God bless Galaxy TV. And this one is sending it from Alaba. Okay. All right. This one says, thank you for making people know more about Nigeria. Thank you too for for watching. Someone says, I want to talk. I'm sorry. Time is already fast spent. We can't pick calls again. This one says, good afternoon. My name is Lekon from Yanapajan. My question is, when river people start bombing pipelines and the governor was not able to arrest a single person, what should the government do?
It's a lie.
It's a lie. Which kind?
I don't believe in lie. Pipeline that is currently working.
That is currently working.
This cannot work because the age limit to get employed in the private sector is 26 years. What if you're 25 and you serve for 2 years? At the end,
that one is even good. 29, 2 years.
Another says the person you brought here yesterday was speaking the wrong thing. Thank God for our guest today. The president has no right to sack a sitting.
No, even the president knows. He knows.
He's pretending to sleep.
He knows.
Okay, all right. This one says, good afternoon. In fact, I've never heard where a president suspended a governor. The president that went to Ojota to block the road when Jonathan was in power. All right, I think that's all the messages I'll be able to read for today. We have to wrap up the show. So they do Yanko's off. Thank you so much. Apologies if you cannot pick up. People are still calling. Apologies. Tomorrow, yes, we'll continue with the program. But first, let me appreciate my guests. Thank you so much for being on the show. And thank you so much, Thank you, my callers and my viewers. Tomorrow is another great day to be with us again on the buzz. But this time around, it's going to be everything trending on social media. So I'll see you again tomorrow. Do have a wonderful and a fabulous day for yourself. Bye for now.